This is going to be tanking 101 in under 5 minutes. Welcome back to all my subscribers. For anyone new, welcome to the channel. My name's Drew. This is Future Strategy Gaming. This video is going to be a crash course in tanking in under 5 minutes so that you can jump into one of the most coveted and needed roles in Final Fantasy XIV and hopefully squash some of that tank anxiety, or tankxiety as I like to say. So let's go. First and foremost, one thing you're going to need to do anytime you join a group, just make sure your threat generator on wherever, have it available to you, and you're constantly generating the most threat possible. All right, next, let's focus on role actions. So there's 7 in total. 3 I want to point out now. The other 3 aren't that big of a deal. The other 3 you can pick up as you master the first 3. So first, Rampart, 20-second damage reduction that lasts for 20 seconds. Great cooldown, make sure you utilize it. Reprisal, AoE damage reduction of 10%, lasts for 10 seconds. Arm's Length, what I want to focus on because the tooltip's a little weird. So it creates a barrier nullifying most knockback and draw-in effects that lasts for 6 seconds. It's this next portion. Slow, plus 20% whenever barriers struck, lasts for 15 seconds. What that means, this only works on trash mobs. So when you have this ability in that 6-second window, if a trash mob melee attacks you, they're going to have a melee attack speed reduction of 20% after that for 15 seconds. This is an underutilized CD that people need to use more because it's definitely going to nullify a lot of damage. Now the other 3, Provoke is your taunt, Low Blow is your stun, Interject is going to be your interrupt. You can learn those a little bit better after you've mastered the first 3. Shirk is something you're not going to utilize until you get into group content, and as this is a tanking 101, more than likely you're not doing group content. All right, let's talk about setting up your bars. Do it however you want, but one thing I want to showcase is continuity. A majority of my cooldowns are going to be all in these 2 areas. What you'll notice between the 3 bars as I shift through. These 5 do not ever change no matter what tank I'm playing. It's always going to be the same 5. Rampart's always on the same spot. This button right here is always going to be my damage increase no matter what tank I'm playing. And this button right here is always going to be my invulnerability. This top bar is always going to be my damage reduction cooldowns. Let's talk basic principles. Wall-to-wall pulling is something in 14 that is very popular. What that means is you start at point A, move to point B, where there is a theoretical or actual real wall that won't allow you to progress further into the dungeon, as most dungeons in 14 are going to be linear. Next, what you want to do is be aware of your surroundings. If one of your teammates happens to pick up a mob, you want to be able to focus and grab that mob. The other thing you want to do is maintain your damage reduction cooldowns and avoid any unnecessary damage from any AoEs that you see on the ground while you're tanking. Let's talk about tanking on trash. So like I said, you want a wall-to-wall pull pretty much all the time, except for anything less than 40. I'll talk about why in just a sec. Then you want to utilize your cooldowns in rotation. So the reason I say it this way, these effects do not stack. And what I mean by that is if I put this up, this is a damage reduction cooldown of 30%. And if I were to hit Rampart, which is a damage reduction cooldown of 20%, I'm not going to get 50%. As you see one expire, just pop that next one on. That's going to be on trash. Now let's talk about bosses. Melee boss hits do not hit very hard. So that being said, you want to utilize your cooldowns to negate some of the boss abilities. One thing you're also going to want to do is you want to keep the boss centrally positioned, and you want to keep up your damage rotation as best as possible so you can focus on getting that boss down as quickly as possible. All right, let's talk about what not to do. Like I said, don't overlap your cooldowns. That's not going to be a thing. Don't move the boss around a lot. The reason you want to keep it centrally located, a lot of the melee jobs within 14 have positional requirements attached to their abilities. If they are not in that position, they will deal less damage. Moving the boss around, jumping a ton, moving back and forth is just going to jerk that boss circle around and is unnecessary and will potentially reduce the damage of one of your teammates. Now, another thing you don't want to do is forget to use your cooldowns because you get so focused on other things. I do this a lot. It's something I have to work on. Basically, what you want to do is make sure that you're utilizing your DPS rotation as best as your ability, but also making sure that you're popping cooldowns in between all that. All right, lower level tanking. As you get going, wall-to-wall pulls might not actually work for most jobs because they don't have their full toolkit during the initial leveling period. I would say 40 and above is when wall-to-wall becomes more prominent, but in lower dungeons, it's actually better off to just do one pull. When that pull's halfway done, you move on to the next pull and kind of keep that flow going the entire time. That's going to be it. That's tanking 101 in less than 5 minutes. Hopefully this was a good educational video. I'll see you in the next one. Do the YouTube stuff. Take care. Peace.